All right, today we're diving into one of literature's most subtle, but also most powerful tools, understanding. It really is the art of saying less to mean so much more. Okay, so you've definitely heard something like this before, right? It's bold, it's loud, and let's be honest, it's a huge overstatement. This is what we call hyperbole, or exaggeration. And yeah, it works, but it's not the only way to make a point. Because, for every statement that screams for attention, there's another one that just whispers. And sometimes that whisper can hit a lot harder. Today, we're talking all about that quiet cousin, understanding. So here's the basic difference. Hyperbole shouts from the rooftops, turning a problem into a universe of trouble. It says way more than is actually true. Understatement, on the other hand, just whispers. It takes that same chaos and calls it a bit of trouble. It deliberately says less than what's true, and that creates a totally different kind of punch. So let's get down to it. What exactly is understatement? Let's nail down a clear definition. So here's the official textbook version. The keyword here is deliberately. A writer takes something massive, a huge disaster, a deep feeling, and just kind of presents it like it's no big deal. It's a very specific, very calculated move. And I mean, think about what that's really doing. When a writer downplays something huge, they're not trying to hide how important it is. Nope. They're actually inviting you, the reader, to fill in that gap. And that aha moment you have, that's where all the power is hiding. Okay, so now that we know what it is, how do we actually find it out in the wild? Well, let's put together a little toolkit for you with 3 key tricks to help you spot it. So here they are, our 3 tricks. First, you're going to look for a really big event that's described with really small words. Second, you'll want to keep an eye out for specific words that kind of soften the blow. And third, you'll notice when a speaker's tone is way too calm for the drama that's actually happening. Let's break these down. All right, our first tool is all about scale. We're on the hunt for a massive mismatch between what happened and the words used to talk about it. This is such a classic example. The words "a bit of trouble" make it sound like a minor headache, right? Maybe a patio chair got knocked over. But then the context shows you an entire village has been wiped out. That gigantic, ironic gap between the words and the reality, that's exactly where understatement does its magic. Our next trick is all about spotting specific clue words. You can think of them as little flashing red lights for understatement, words that are designed to dial down the intensity. So keep your eyes peeled for words like a bit, somewhat, a little, or slightly. We call these the softeners. The second you see one of these pop up when describing something really intense, your understatement detector should start going off. For instance, let's say a poem has just spent lines and lines describing a brutal, bone-chilling blizzard, and then the narrator says the cold was a little sharp. That one word, little, is doing some seriously heavy lifting. It's deliberately playing down a harsh reality, which, funnily enough, makes us feel the cold even more because of the contrast. And our last tool is maybe the sneakiest. It's not just about the words themselves, but the whole vibe behind them. You're listening for a tone that is just weirdly calm or casual for what's going on. Right here, it all boils down to contrast. Just imagine a character who has just lost something priceless, maybe a family heirloom or a lifelong dream. If they turn around and describe that feeling as a small disappointment, wow, that's a massive understatement. The super calm, detached tone actually makes their hidden pain feel so much deeper. So we know what it is, and we know how to find it. But why? Why do writers even bother with this? Why would you whisper when shouting just seems so much easier? Well, the answer is actually fascinating. This quiet approach unlocks all these powerful effects that you just can't get with loud, in-your-face language. Understatement is just incredibly versatile. It can create this really dry humor, add layers of subtle irony, or show that a character has amazing self-control. But I think its greatest strength is how it adds this quiet emotional depth. It makes us, the readers, do a little bit of work to figure out what's really going on. So, as we start to wrap this up, let's really boil this all down to its core power. What's the one big takeaway here? And this is it. This is the central paradox and the magic of understatement. By holding back on purpose, the writer creates this vacuum that our own emotions just rush in to fill. And all of a sudden, what's left unsaid becomes way more powerful than what is said. This quote just nails it perfectly. On the surface, the words are soft, but underneath, for the reader who's really paying attention, the impact is so much stronger. It's a quiet little device that creates a really loud effect.
And that really leaves us with one final thought. Understatement isn't just a fancy literary device. It's a huge part of our everyday lives. So think about it. What's the most powerful thing you've ever understood that was never actually said out loud? The answer to that? Well, that's the true power of saying less.